got me connected to Runway, where I spoke at their AI Film Festival with Darren Aronofsky and Paul Trillo and Cleo Abrams. And that really just opened up this doorway of speaking and connecting with people about AI on a level that I hadn't really anticipated. And the rest is history.
Yes, it is. And you know what? That piece of history is what led me to you. You and I met at a convention in Hollywood in LA, and you were talking about the things we're talking about today: generative AI, how it's being used in film and media. Talk to our audience and share a little bit about what you shared there, because it was so fascinating, Souki, what I saw, that even during your presentation, I didn't know whether to text my technology advisor or like stare cold at the screen. What you did was absolutely expert, amazing. The things that we have been saying in my consulting practice, the things that we have been saying could be done, you had executed expertly. So tell our audience a little bit about what you did, yes ma'am, and how you used AI to generate like every part of that production process.
So right. So for me, when I was approached to speak at Real Screen, it was an interesting challenge because I was really trying to think about what is the most important thing for me to communicate in 5 minutes to an audience of people that may or may not have had any kind of exposure to AI or really deep exposure to AI. And one of the things that became very clear to me is that I keep hearing the same questions over and over again at different events and different teams that I work with, and that is specifically the questions: what tools should I be using, and how do I use them? And I've constantly thought to myself, like, these are not the right questions to be asking, and even though they are helpful later on in the process, we really need to kind of move back a few steps and start to ask a bigger picture question, which is, for me, what system can I design that allows me to use less tools, to use them better, and to think generatively? Um, and and to break that down a little bit and make it a little less complex, I like to think of AI tools as ingredients in a recipe where the tools I choose are critical, but how I choose them and what how I put them together and in what order are just as important. And so I like to break down the process by starting with, like, what big picture end results I'm looking for, what are the milestones, and what is the most graceful path that I can take to arrive there, um, before I actually start to use any of the tools or create a process, whether it's generating or prompting, whatever it is. Um, it's very experimental, and it comes down to a systems design thinking approach, which is what I presented on stage, which was really like uh, an approach to AI, to generative tools that is not reliant on any one tool. And while, I shared a bunch of tools that I use through various parts of the production process, from pre-production, production, and post-production, I really wanted to drive home to people that before you ever start using AI, it's so important to imagine the goal, work backwards, gather materials, start to design the structure of how you're going to contain the findings, almost like a research project, before you ever start to generate. And then in generating, recognizing it's an iterative process, it's a conversation with AI.